Om Shanti. So welcome all of you to the episode 4C on the art of sustaining yourself. And as always, before we begin, let's spend a few moments reflecting on this art, asking oneself, am I really able to sustain myself? What is exactly the meaning of sustaining oneself? What are the ways in which, or the methods through which we can make sure that we nourish ourselves, this beautiful, innate soul power that we have? And finally, at the end of the workshop, we try to do some action planning and take away with us some things which are still lacking in my self-sustenance. So with these few thoughts to ponder upon, let's begin. And we have almost 30 participants. And so before I begin, a big thanks to all the participants for joining on time, because people tend to join a bit late. We have our facilitators with us, Sister Anu and Sister Harpreet from the West Coast of Canada, and all the interpreters and the recorders. A big thanks to all of you for being so tireless in being for the workshop and everything of the Arts for Life series. So with this acknowledgement, let me just start going further. As you see that this is the fourth art we have been covering. We have actually covered three of them: the art of being still, art of thinking, and the art of refreshing. And this is today's art, which is art of being still. Sorry, I think I'm so sorry, it's a mistake. It's not still. Good, I saw it. It's art of sustaining the self. Sorry for that. And now, as always, let's move on to the icebreaker video. So see what, related to sustaining the self, what sort of insights do you get from the video? It's a very brief video. Let's begin, and you all are welcome to start sharing in the chat box as and when you get some insights, because the first thought as an insight which comes to you, just jot it down. Don't think about it, oh, whether I should write or not, whether it's right or wrong. No. So the first thought is the spontaneous one. Usually that's the one which should come down in the chat box immediately. So let's begin.
No, the other day I found her skinny jacket and she's sweating like a pig. And then she tries to pretty herself up with some makeup. Get over it. We all know what you are.
Hi, Tina.
Wow, Kat, you should probably clean up that mess on your face.
Nice try.
Ugh. I told you to get rid of those fugly skates.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of them today.
Good, because they were sticking up the hallway. I told you to get rid of those fugly skates. They were sticking up the hallway.
Okay, wonderful. So a very thought-provoking 2-minute video. I can see people reflecting and thinking a lot. Start writing in the chat box now. Okay. We try to make sure that we don't do voice sort of take your oral sharings for the lack of time. But let's see if nothing comes in the chat box. And if someone wants to share orally, you are welcome to do that. Okay. You could also relate to the values and powers which that girl was probably missing, and then later she got suddenly that aha moment, and then she became happy. So what values and powers are associated with this video related to sustaining? Yeah, thank you, Sister Harpreet, for starting. Self-belief, yes, absolutely. And yeah, wonderful. Listen to your inner self. Anumit is saying, thank you, wonderful. Sister Denise is saying the first word that came to me is reflection. Yeah, even I was actually thinking, looking at the reflection of the self. And that's the spiritual tool which we keep constantly using in our workshops. What mirror am I looking into? Is it a positive one or a negative one? Yes, absolutely. Shalu is saying lack of confidence she had, and later she developed self-confidence. Some aha moment happened. And yeah, Brother Manuel can translate that shortly. Yeah, good. So it is all about, yeah, Rehna is saying seemed more like survival mode than sustaining until that aha moment. Yeah, sure. So she's feeling it's about survival. I think because she was being mocked around and ridiculed by her contemporaries, by her peers. Sister Anu saying, listen to your heart. Yeah, right. And maybe in the life journey where we are, there are many people who tell us many things, but what comes from within is important, and what we feel right may not be right for others, though. But listen to your heart and do what you feel without hurting others. Absolutely. Sonia is saying inner voice. Yeah, so all of you are agreeing it's the inner voice. And the Portuguese thing is about my sound. Yeah, so fantastic. So it's a beautiful video telling us about how to listen to our inner voice. Okay, and thank you all of you all for your sharings. So with this, let's move on to the first activity, and over to Sister Anu for that. Thank you.
I think first activity Sister Harpreet would be doing, and
Yes.
as Brother Manoj shared in the chat box sharing in the icebreaker video, it is just chat box sharing, but for the exercises you can share at the end. Let's start the exercise. Over
Oops.
to Harpreet sister.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I got it. Sorry, Manoj.
Yeah, I was confused. I'm so sorry. So it is you. Yeah.
Let me share.
Okay, yeah.
So, yes, before the exercise, this is the workshop. We'll get some, we can review what we heard. Beautiful, yes, thought-provoking video. And this is whole month we are churning on sustaining the self. The talk was by Sister Denise on 7th of June. So she began with the few elements that are vital for sustaining ourselves. And the first one she was talking about was karma yoga, that the practice of being in soul consciousness, or that, more the being that is in us than just the body or the role. So the practice of being in that soul consciousness, in tune with the incorporeal God, and doing various activities. So she started with that elements, it is important that we are aware of our being part. that being is always in tune or connected with the incorporeal God? And can we hold onto that consciousness while doing all the actions? So we do many multitasking activity. So while doing all the activities outside the actions, physical actions, can I be still inside and being able to hear my voice of my heart? Also the God connection, that would be also highlight of this whole workshop. And the context of a spiritual university or school, listening to the spiritual knowledge and being with the fellow students and teachers. So it's like spiritual knowledge that I will resonate when I'm in my being mode or in soul consciousness, and then with moving with fellow students and teachers, so that it's all same energy, same understanding, and the sustenance becomes powerful. And to build my relationship with God, at the same time taking some extra time away from my life and physical activities, and in that silence, when I'm with God, reflecting on that source and universe that is solid. So to be alone with God, alone with myself, so that I can look at myself and see exactly who I am. Just like in the video, it doesn't take much time, a second, to reflect in that solitude alone, and you experience God being with you, and you can see what exactly you are or what is that you are called to do. So the need to sustain the self. So at the moment, if we look at the world, we are in the times of change. So looking after of the self is a part of process of maturing, of growing into independence. And in this, time of change, everything that's happening around us, is it reality? So taking a moment to think about it. So that's where she brought the word disillusionment. So is it an illusion? What is your heart saying, and what is happening around? Is it matching? If not, then it's about choice. Do we want to choose to come out of that, or we want to live under the illusions? So it's a reflection on that. And a very important part of spiritual practice is to move away from illusion and realize I'm here to understand and experience what is real, to live as an authentic person in a real space, because that gives that happiness, fulfillment, that meaning of living. So we have to just make that decision to see the difference and go within and experience the real. A perspective of obstacles, very beautifully she spoke about, and we'll be taking up an exercise on this. So external things, though tangible, are temporary. Spiritual knowledge sustains us by enabling us to commune with the intangible supreme being of light. And we are spiritual being. It is not physically tangible, but all that we experience, we feel, is our truth, and that is permanent. It's not temporary. But the temporary world takes our attention, and that's where we lose the connection with my permanent self. So to stand on our own feet in terms of wisdom and understanding is the solid foundation, enables us to overcome obstacles. So wisdom and understanding, spiritual wisdom and understanding, enables us to see an obstacle differently, and also realize our power to overcome, to cross over that. And Sister Denise mentioned that obstacles could come in the form of our own immaturity or ego reactions. So obstacle is not really real. It can be there outside from others, but if I am spiritually grounded, it's not an obstacle. And it is our ego reaction, means we are away from our spiritual essence, our immaturity, that makes the obstacle big. looking at the thoughts that are being provoked by certain feelings to see if they are valid or wasteful, not having substantial meaning. We have to check our thoughts. Obstacles then seem to be essential as a way of progress, shift from one level of practice to a much higher level. It's the same as the video, isn't it? An obstacle takes us deeper within into ourselves. So then that makes us grow, makes us progress, mature. So positive positioning with respect to the drama of life. So everything that's happening, it's a role I'm playing, and there's a play that's going on. Can I have that consciousness and understanding? So Raj Yoga puts us not on the path of seeking, but on the path of discovering the details of the drama in which we are all actors. So we discover, we're not seeking, or where is peace, where is truth, but we discover the truth, that I'm the being of peace. I'm an actor playing a role. We are encouraged to position ourselves independently of the drama. So separate yourself in the sense the actor playing a role on the stage. The role cannot make me, distress, but I can play the role with my essence of spirit, and that is really, graceful. There is nothing that can put me down. I can play it out and cross over and move to the next. When you become independent of the drama and then you go inside to it, you are said to be, in Hindi, Sukhi, not just happy. There is a great wealth of knowledge, expertise, experience, and personal power. He talked about being in solitude as being Sukhi or happy, because we are in contact with what is not in the drama. Means I'm not pulled or pushed by the drama, but I'm connected with the creator of the drama, Supreme Being, our Father, Mother, Teacher, Friend, Beloved. And this is what we wanted in the first. That sustains us, and I stay in my spiritual essence away from the drama. I understand that drama cannot tie me up. I play the drama. Relationship. Anyway, so a relationship with the divine for the sustenance. So God really knows the self and really knows you, and is there to show you things that you cannot see any other way. God knows himself, God knows you. So the connection with him will reveal who I am, and that is the only way. It is really inner. It's like you experience it. It's not physically you can see. Be connected with the Supreme Soul, and in your power, nothing can take you out of that. Nothing can disturb you if I stay connected with the Supreme Soul, Source, God. Walking the talk, actually living moment by moment, detail by detail, second by second, and checking whether I'm soul conscious. Am I really aware of all of the cues of drama? Can I feel the situation and circumstances? What is needed from me at any given moment so that I do pure karma at the level of thought, word, action, vibration, connections. It's about being aware who I am, taking the cues of drama, that what I have to do, so that I have to play it out. There is nothing to emotionally get by the drama. Drama is indicating that you have all the powers. What is that you have to do? So that's the pure karma, the level of thought, word, action, vibration, and connection. To be every time what the spiritual knowledge is talking us about is performing a pure karma. To be, not just a doer. Who am I? Who is being? And accumulating a lot of personal power. This is self-defense. A yogi's perspective, a yogi is someone who is free from the different pairs of opposites, pain, defamation, happiness, joy, being loved or not, being noticed or not. A yogi practices to be neutral in this, because, well, that's yogi. Nothing affects, I'm balanced, I know who I am. So for this, we do need to practice to be, in a sense, invisible, not looking for feedback, just being who I am. I'm invisible, doesn't matter. I'm not depending on what others have to say. If I go deep inside of me, I know where I have to go, what I have to do. Looking at how we move through our day and seeing that every part of it corresponds to the description of a deity soul, the description of a yogi, the description of a tyagi, a tapasvi. So there are very deep meanings to it. So maybe not in the scope of now, but deity soul, a person who performs with the highest code of conduct. So that needs a yogi, a tyagi that's invisible, not depending on the drama. Then I become a deity soul. Looking at the titles that God has given us to make ourselves into a wise person who, when moves around, is observed by people. So if I can follow that inner voice and God's direction, then yeah, I become an example, or with my highest code of conduct, people. There are many questions. So the one question was, it sounds paradoxically.
Anu, yeah, time is up because
Time's up. So yes, we will send it. So, then only you can see, so that I'll not take up the questions, and I will stop it here. Please know that you will all be receiving the review material with this whole summaries. Over to Sister Harpreet.
Thank you, Sister Anu. That was a great summary. It was a great class by Sister Denise. So it was a very great insight. So the role of an obstacle is like basically we are going to be turned now on is how we are going to be obstacles to be opportunity and progress, right? So the role of an obstacle is enable one to be stand up and the solid foundation of the spiritual wisdom and knowledge. I really liked from his sister's talk as she was talking about is a path of discovering myself, right? It's not just path of seeking. So I know now how I can really go within and I can really discover that who I am, really staying with that, right? And so it's against our own ego, reactions and weaknesses, and anyone who to be blamed and with such courage, right? So we are really going to focus on to move on to a subtle level, see things clearly and overcome, find solutions and progress to the upper level. It's not about moving anything or anyone, but to overcome and progress, even if the situation remains the same. So basically, we are reflecting on a situation that seems like an obstacle, difficult. So we're going to identify what the reason is, reason is that you may be holding responsible. So we are going to take a minute and we are going to reflect on that. So then we are going to take a moment and release the person or the reason with the courage, with the let go and let it be. So let's just take a few minutes and we are going to really go within and we are going to find the solutions, not just only we are focusing on the obstacle, because obstacle is there to give us the strength and to move forward. So how we can go within and take a moment. Let's reflect on that. So moving along with that is you probably got the person or the reason. Now experiencing yourself in a space of total freedom and surrounded by the divine power and support. How are you going to do that? So now you're going to reflect on write down the practice steps, and you will take to overcome that obstacle. Whatever the obstacle is, how you're going to overcome that. So this is all about is removing anything or anyone what to overcome and progress, even if the situation remains the same. So how can we grow from that and move forward, not holding on to that situation or the person? Let's go really deep in to let go. Hope you're all getting your solutions. How you're going to get over with that, whatever the situation. Okay. So we have a couple of the things in the chat. So situations and the transformation is always uncomfortable. True. What if we can bring ourselves to light others' path, our path gets automatically illuminated. And I want my path brightly lit. Yes, that's very true, Rihanna. And Anu sister said is okay, ask if okay. Is ask is they are ready, and let's move on for sharing. Okay, sorry, that was she was asking me. Sorry, and so then we have another one. Words that were spoken honestly but wrongly, so it may create regret, and recognize obstacles in the self that may becomes difficult to solve, overcoming by introspection, introversion, being aware not to repeat wrongdoing again. Very true. So we just need to go inside and learn there's a learning. How can I improve myself? It's not about others. It's all about my growth, isn't it? Anybody else?
They can speak as well and share if they like.
Yeah. So anybody just want to open the mic and share? Yeah, observe. Okay, so we need a translation on that one. Anybody want to just open up the mic and share? Be brave. This is a self-reflection, right? Because the time we're spending together, how I can change myself. We have a few minutes. So you can write in the chat or you can just open the mic and share. For me, when I was turning on is being clear, right? And confident, whatever the situation is coming to you, and just releasing that judgment on the person, on the situation. So that was, I was just turning on that, how I can learn and move on. So recently, we have another one. Sister is sharing is Denise, and recently overcoming a huge long-term obstacle by first connecting with God, yeah, thinking what I had to give and being open to giving, that asking for the space to speaking my truth with love, what firmness, 100%. Yeah, when we are clear and we are firm, and then the message is clear, right? Well said, sister. Anybody else like to share?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to share one experience.
Mhm.
So recently I had an injury, a personal injury, and because of which I became completely bedridden for almost good part of 3 months. And before that scene in drama happened, I'm a very, very active person. Like my one foot will be outside the door and one foot will be inside the house. You know, who works like 16 to 17 hours a day in Baba's Seva. So that was a real challenge for me. Of course, a lot of people showed a lot of love, care, and everything. But personally, it was very challenging for me to just be myself and just to sit and not get too engaged that I have to do this, I have to do this. So, but one day I wrote a letter to Baba and to God, and I got the reply that everybody, you know, there are a lot of souls who would want to sit like this and to spend time doing meditation, churning the knowledge. So when you have that opportunity, why don't you take that? So one of the thought that that inspired me that time was exactly what Sister Denise spoke, and it's so connected with me that we all want those moments of solitude with God, and when we get them, are we brave enough to what you say really enjoy those moments? And in this 2.5 months to 3 months, I feel now I feel like drama and God have given me this opportunity to go into the depths of meditation, to go into the depths of knowledge, and also to self evaluate myself and to listen to classes of great dadis and all that, which was a great time for self reflection. Of course, there were a lot of times when I faltered, when again I was kind of like feeling, why am I in this situation? Why did this injury happen to me only? But it was a good time for me to experiment with what it means to be in ekant, like to be in the depths, living with Baba, living with God, experiencing his love and experiencing the love of God's family also.
Great.
So that's
Yeah,
a
very well. So
that's
you're
a
using the present moment in worthwhile way, right? So that's great.
try
So
to,
instead of questioning, so you made that is how I can grow and how I can move forward. Well said, sister. Thank you.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. So we have a couple other in the chat. So Laura said, observe how you feel. That's very important. Yeah. When situation comes, how do I feel inside? And do everything you can to control the urge to react with the understanding that is the best path. What is happening is the best, right? So another one we have here is focus on things, as Anurit said, in my control, and remembering that divine power will take care of the things that are not in my control. Yes. So there's always we need to focus on what is in my control. Well said. Okay, I think we have another one. Yeah, so I think I read that one already. So each situation is transforming always as uncomfortable, yes. What if we can bring ourselves to light others' path, and the path gets automatically illuminated? Yeah. We already turn on that one. Yeah, go ahead.
बाइक तो उसने अभी खरीदा है और हमने इतनी बार बोला है छोटी वीडियो बनाओ तो ये
Okay.
मेरी कैसे तो
You
पुरानी
have to
वीडियो
read
है
from the
देखो
chart, the Maria. Yeah, this brother.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought somebody likes to share.
In the chart, I think there's Maria.
Yeah.
Then I think we have to read.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And so Maria said is, and to be patient, the solution basically is the result is usually not immediate, basically patient and persistent self-esteem. So all of that is needed when we really want to be in the self-solitude. Well said. Great sharing, everybody. Anybody else? The time is almost up. So that was a great sharing. And I'm going to pass back to Brother Manoj. Manoj, brother, it's all yours. Thank you.
Also, the
Okay.
sharings, sorry to interrupt, are recorded, and you will receive it in the review material. Brother Deepak is recording your sharings. And if you are new, let me take the moment here, and are not enrolled to our WhatsApp and email list, then please send it to us so that we can add you, so that you can receive the review material in the upcoming program. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let me just share the screen. And so now after this, we move on to revising the part 4B. That was what Sister Judy had to speak about. And as a facilitator, what she did, she really came up with beautiful reflection questions. So we'll see what she had to say. So she spoke a lot about ecosystem and connection with the divine. So we'll dive into the depths of that soon with an exercise, because the next exercise towards the end is my ecosystem. So she said that it takes a village to carry a soul on its journey through time. Like when a child is born, until the time it grows up, becomes an adult, mature, then goes on into the stage of being a senior citizen, so on and so forth. It really takes a lot of effort for a journey, for a soul to go on its journey. And that ecosystem which is formed around the soul, we as a soul have to always have gratitude for that, because there are many lessons which we learn through our life. Some good experiences, some bad experiences, everything teaches us a lesson indeed. And she also said that what helps me develop my solitude and self-reliance inside my this ecosystem of support. So in one way, another word which sounds similar to ecosystem is support system, or my sources of support, which Sister Denise covered and Anu Behan covered that in detail. So according to Sister Judy, self-reliance means I'm able to be with all of them who are around me, who bring good energy into my relationship, but I am not relying on or expecting anything from them for my sustenance. So here comes the principle of spirituality, which tells us about a non-expectant attitude towards people. That yes, we obviously have a good relationship with them, but don't be dependent on them. And here comes the word independent. And when we say independent, people think, oh, it's freedom. I can do whatever. Independent basically means depending on my inner being, my insight, my intuition. And the second thing which she mentioned is, how are you sustaining your connection with the divine? So the more and more I'm able to connect myself in my meditation with the divine, it helps me to fizzle out these other dependencies on other people around. So that was the first slide. The second thing which she mentioned was our ticket to self-sustenance. And you all can churn on what is this ticket, but she mentioned that whenever we experience in meditation the connection towards the divine, everything else just fades out. And as I'm speaking about this connection and again and again today, right now I'm in Nepal on godly service here. And all of you know, I forgot to mention you all, today is June 21st. It's called the International Yoga Day. And I would say at Brahma Kumaris, in our spiritual life, we say International Remembrance Day. So we try to use the most of this day and spread the word of how to connect with the divine. So it's today's day, and all of you know today is the summer solstice, which means the daylight time is the maximum, the sunlight time. And from tomorrow onwards, the days start becoming a little bit smaller. So this was the 11th International Yoga Day. It was started by our very dear brother Ramesh from Brahma Kumaris. He was our senior brother and was the additional Secretary General. And it was 2014 when he proposed it, and the government of India accepted, and it became a worldwide thing. And if you all know, the United Nations also has accepted that. And today's theme for this International Yoga Day is about yoga for one, earth, and for health. So it's something related to health and earth, which is being environment friendly. Okay, so coming back to the ticket to self-sustenance, for this connecting, for strengthening our connection, the importance of a daily timetable is very important. And she mentioned here that what attention am I paying towards two aspects: the superficial aspects of life, which is all the daily chores, getting up, getting ready, going to work, so on and so forth. And the second one is how much attention am I paying to the deeper aspects. I think all of us do agree that somehow or the other, looking at the other aspects of our daily life, we really ignore completely our deeper aspects. And here comes the word which many people say, work-life balance, whereby my personal life and professional life, I need to strike a balance. So she also said that how am I spending my entire day? I mean, that's the spiritual principles which at Brahma Kumaris we follow: getting up in the morning, having evening meditation, studying spiritual wisdom, what we call the Murli class in the morning, then churning on that, having good company of like-minded people, having good spiritual company actually, and finally using all of that to express and help others. So other good thing which she touched upon was trusting karma. I hope I am not overboard on time. I have 2 more minutes, I guess. Yeah. So here were the two questions. She said that we need to trust that in life, whatever is happening for a reason. And I obviously can't change the past, but I can change the future by taking care of what karma I am doing today. So she said two reflection questions. What have you discovered about what's valuable to you for sustaining the self? And using your own discernment, what is something you can start doing to sustain yourself? So here is it. As I told you before, in our workshops, as we proceed towards the end of the workshop, we go on to this action planning mode. So after having heard or so much about sustaining the self, and churning on the first exercise about obstacles in the form of either people or situations, what do you feel now that you're lacking? You're able to discern now and decide. And what else you should be able to do so that it helps you to sustain yourself. In effect, sustaining your own health and well-being. So this is a takeaway question because the next exercise will be coming soon. Let me see what's the. So with this, I'll pass it on to Sister Anu now for the next activity. Is that okay? You want me to continue sharing, or you can stop sharing and share yours?
Thank you, Manoj brother. I'll share. So that was beautiful, sharing from Sister Judy. So it takes us so deeper into really seeing ourselves, and sustaining the self is being able to see ourselves spirit. So the first exercise we'll take on from this summary of Sister Judy's talk is that strengthening my the sustenance of my ecosystem, the village. Right? So what is the village? I think whoever have attended, they got some time to do it. So let's take it up again. And that is, the village. It is about everyone who exists in my life, positive or negative, everything that exists around me. Definitely positive is always the great thing we remember, but the other things, as we saw, obstacles make us progress. So it would be on that we'll reflect further deeper. So let's take a minute to draw the village of our ecosystem. As you can see on the slide, create like that. You can create a circle, I, the being, then few circles around that. So, draw a circle for each one exists in your ecosystem of life. Can we do that? So as I'm saying, I'm sure you're doing it. So draw your ecosystem, the village. Sister Judy mentioned that we say it takes a village. Yeah, everything that is surrounding in my life is important for my journey through this life. And what is essential is to be grateful to my village. They have a purpose. Everyone who is there to sustain me. But there is certain thing we need to know. So to self-sustain. So as I said, circle, write both the support systems, both the circles, the pleasant ones where there is love, understanding, harmony, and the distressing one or difficult ones. For example, even the boss or a difficult relationship also belongs to my village, the ecosystem. I'll give just another half a minute for this. I hope you have drawn it. It's very essential that we know this very consciously. After this, let's move to the next one. That Sister Judy emphasized that the self-sustenance is not possible by rejecting or getting rid of any part of my village. That's not the solution. That's not going to sustain me. Self-sustenance actually depends on two things. What am I giving to my village? Giving. And reducing the reliance or dependency on their presence for my well-being. So self-reliant. Everything is happening. Can I see it? But I'm not dependent on how am I feeling and how to sustain and move through life, whichever way they exist in my ecosystem. Acceptance is one word. So again, think of these two lines that's written here, and let's choose just one from both the support systems, the prison, the distressing one. Just take one. Can we give a minute, very quickly, spontaneously? Who is coming to your mind? A pleasant one, a distressing. The pleasant ones are those who are loving, who are really sustaining our hearts, as we say. And then take the love, receive the love. But I think there's a word Sister also mentioned, taking granted for. We cannot take it for granted, or they may be there, they may not be there. That part is important. It's not just taking, but self-reliance, not forgetting that. Whereas the distressing one, maybe we think of removing, getting rid of. We stop taking or giving there. And in the pleasant ones, maybe we are taking more than giving, than we are expect. Both cases there's expect. So understand that. So we wrote one pleasant connection or circle, one distressing connection or circle. Let's come to the pleasant one. Take a few seconds to reflect on how you can decrease taking or depending on their giving. This exercise is more an experience-based, reflection-based exercise. So go sincerely into it. You don't have to share if you don't like or anything, but think, can you decrease taking or depending on their giving? And how? There can be some physical actions, but more to bring attention to the self. Second point is now visualize that you're not dependent on their giving, but you're grateful. You're free. You can rely fully on it. We just take a moment on this really deep experience. As also we know, understanding the self mainly is according to our connection with the divine, by the way. And we'll come to that. We have the exercise right after this, but this is about physically we can be self-reliant and there's a balance, not depending. Now let's go to the distressing one. Let's reflect on how you can increase giving, not avoiding or worrying. Because when we realize who we are, we don't run away. Like Sister Judy mentioned, when you give, it uplifts. That's your power. That's your quality. You can think of some actions you can do physically that you increase the gift. Again, be grateful, visualize that they are there. That also gives the fuel to progress to my inner best self. Yes. So, as I mentioned, it's more about really realizing and experiencing that we have to give. How are we giving to our village? And self-reliant balance. And the next part is always being sustained with the Supreme God presence. But physically, how do we take care of our, that is deep connection. Okay, so I'll stop it here. If there is anything you want to share, then you're welcome. It can be something that you take home and experience a realization or insight. And you can continue looking at your ecosystem and bringing balance that way. Can I reduce taking from the pleasant ones? Can I increase my giving in the non-pleasant one by realizing my anything you would like to share? Anyone? Actually, the sharing is the pleasant circle method to decrease taking and the distressing circle method to increase. So you can take home this homework as well. But if there is anything that comes to your mind spontaneously, physical actions, even giving a rose to somebody to decrease taking means, filling it with thankfulness, gratitude. But there or not there doesn't. Can I come to that? Then please.
Thank you, Anu. It was such a wonderful experience, must say, because just the moment when I had the thought about this experience is just the experiencing the gratefulness would be just enough, and just to be aware of that it is increasing. So the awareness of the gratefulness only to this support system, which we know when we make the notes, and And that is enough, really, because just by becoming aware of that support, but at the same time to be free from any expectation or dependency, that is feels like the most important part of this exercise, because to fly we must be independent, and think that in thought, in word, in actions, we need to be independent. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanam. Like Brother Manoj said, that depending on in you, the true you. And yes, the great method of being grateful. When I feel expectation or dependency, changing to gratefulness itself is giving to the village. And I sustain myself and the village is sustained. If I want to disrupt that, as Sister Judy mentioned, it's not going to sustain me either. Beautiful. Only gratefulness is enough. Anumit says, thankful for the distressing one in pain and in difficult times, conscious shift and awakening happens. Even more grateful for these ones. Once we are more grateful because they give us the fuel to progress, to me, the true essence. Always, always grateful for the positive ecosystem around. Thank you, Anumit. Yes, Oria, you want to share? Please. Do you want to share? Okay, so the other a few sharings. Yes, Arya, are you here? Would you like to share? We can't hear you properly.
Sorry.
No problem. Then Swati says, my dear Baba, God, Source, Supreme Soul, gratitude to you for your support and blessings. And that will experience very shortly the ultimate sustenance from the souls. Coco asks, can you put the last slide once again? Yeah, sure. This is a homework we can take. It's ongoing effort or work to sustain the self. So pleasant circle method to decrease taking, and distressing or difficult circle method to increase giving. But it is about not depending, bringing balance. Grateful. Okay, so if there are a few more, Lara says, I can't read it. Okay, maybe time is running. If you still have any point or sharing you can think of, I think we have 2-3 minutes buffer time in case anybody's interested. So Lara says, the hardest ones inspire me to change. So the difficult circles have more grateful. We are more grateful to them, isn't it? Inspire me to change, or inspire me to look within that we don't give time to and discover ourselves. Beautiful, Lara. Thank you. Okay, it's a short, yeah. I think Deepak Bhai, thank you. You are sharing. So it's a very short sharings that people will receive in the review material. I hand it over to Manoj, brother. Welcome.
Okay. So thank you so much to all of you for your sharings and all these reflections. Now let's try to come back and summarize, and not in a reflection mode, but in a meditative mode. So we've been speaking about this connection again and again throughout the workshops. Let's try to delve into this connection. So as all of us sit back, make yourself hands-free, sit straight with full attention. And as you take a deep breath, focus your attention on this tiny conscious energy.
I request to stop the music because we can't hear clearly. Thank you, brother.
Sure. So as you focus your attention on this tiny point of light the conscient being that you are. The moment we shift into this soul conscious mode, we automatically begin to connect to the Supreme Soul. And as it is beautifully said, that all that the soul needs is actually within and also in God. So again, coming back to this concept of I, the conscient being, as I connect myself to the divine being, the supreme source of all the values, virtues, powers, I start filling up myself with that abundance from the supreme being. And I would request you all to experience that abundance. Visualize the rays of all the virtues and powers as if you are beneath that shower of that rays. These rays of peace, purity, power, knowledge, happiness, bliss, they are making me feel so full, as if I am like an overflowing vessel now. And it's not only that I am able to sustain myself, but since I'm overflowing with them, all those who come into my interactions and in my company also feel the same vibration. I don't need to think that I am giving. I am just connected to the source, overflowing myself and exuding or radiating into the atmosphere around. And actually, all the souls are getting sustained by the Supreme's energy. Because each one of us is so deficient ourselves, but the moment we connect to that abundant source, we immediately refill ourselves. And that is the way to recharge and sustain the self. And all the questions, all the obstacles seem to just fade away in that divine strong connection. So with this, let's try to come back into the awareness of the room you are in. And I'm sure the more and more you try to practice this meditation, for newcomers, any beginners to Raj Yoga meditation and who want to be a part of this journey, if you're enjoying this journey, this workshop of 1 hour, the past 1 hour, what we did. So please, if you haven't shared your numbers, your WhatsApp numbers and your email addresses, I would request you all to please write it down in the chat box so that we can connect with you all and send you all these review materials. So don't feel disheartened. Oh, I missed this point. Someone had wanted to see the slide again. We'll be sending it to you in email. So you can really, at your leisure time, study that, churn on that more. So with this, let's move on to the announcements. And after the announcements, we'll be sharing the video on the art of sustaining the self. One of our sisters who wants to remain incognito, she's created a video for every art. So we'll be showing you that as well. That will be the ending closing meditation as well in one way. And before that, we'll have the photograph as well. So very quick announcements. The last part of this episode 4, that is 4D. As always, we close every art with the silence retreat. That will happen the next Saturday, 28th of June. Same timings for India, 7:30 to 9 p.m. West Coast, 7 to 8:30 a.m. And though it's mentioned here for BK students, but don't feel inhibited by that word, please. It's a silence retreat. I'm not going into details of what we have, but it's a beautiful way to experience the magic of silence, the power of silence, and it gives you a chance to go within. And this purposeful silence of 1.5 hours, it helps the soul to heal, and it will really help you to sustain yourself. So I would request all of y'all to attend. If not 1.5 hours, at least for whatever time you are comfortable to remain in silence. And this is an elegant calendar. So we are completing on 28 June. We'll be announcing about the next art after we finish the silence retreat. And as always, we are still in the it really takes a village, I must say, to prepare a book. And a big thanks to the entire Vancouver team, particularly to Sister Taran, who's instrumental for this, and the entire team, Sister Lata, Sister Garima, obviously Sister Anu, and even Sister Claudia. I must acknowledge all of them because we are still in the process of preparing for this book. And the moment we are ready with that, we'll let you all know, because I think probably we should be able to inaugurate it during the Raksha Bandhan time in August, hope so. But we'll send you an email when it's all ready and all set for you all to buy. And these are our email addresses and our websites. Please feel free to contact us. Give us your feedbacks, comments, suggestions on anything what you all would want us to improvise on. And with this, I'll stop sharing the screen. Thank you. And yeah, there are a few emails which have come. So Sister Vidhi, you can note down.
If anything has come to you, Manoj brother, please share.
Yeah, I have just forwarded that. Yeah, I have done it. Thanks.
So
Okay, so
everybody, repeat
photograph.
again to send your contact to the chat box, but otherwise you can also write to us saying that to add yourself. So
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, I'm just seeing they have come to me a few. I'll just copy paste to everyone, or to Vidhi or Anu.
To
Yeah.
Vidhi, yeah, to Vidhi, or myself. That's thank you. So now photo time. So if we enjoyed it, so do you want to show our face and take a open your video so that we take this video to memorize this moment, to celebrate this moment. So everybody, you can open your video. Fine. Very nice. Thank you. I got it. So
Right.
yeah.
Do you do the video as well?
I will share the video. I want to thank everybody for this togetherness and this journey of values and arts and shining together. So are you ready for experiencing the video on the art sustaining the self?
Possibilities, unlimited hopes, achievements, sheer joy, the art of sustaining the self. Reach out to the absolute, go beyond all limits. Love is the light of the soul. Believe love for godly knowledge. You don't need a cape to be a hero. You just need to care, be impressed by God and the virtues of the self. The art of sustaining the self. The art of sustaining the self. Ooh. You are the one who takes the diamond chance, pure thoughts, a clean heart, honesty, and an open, strong mind filled with God's love is all that we need. The art of sustaining the self. Ooh. Be yogi, be pure. Purity is my greatest power. You are loved more than you know. Sustaining the self. Reach out to the absolute, go beyond all limits. Love is the light of the soul. Believe in yourself. Be happy, think happy thoughts. Be bright, shine, sing and dance. Be you. Have God, love for godly knowledge. You don't need a cape to be a hero. You just need to care. Be impressed by God and the virtues of the self. The art of sustaining 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 the self. The art. Ooh.
Wonderful. Thank you to one and all. And we are perfect dot on time. So good for all the translators as well. Thank you. See you soon for the silence retreat.
Yeah, see you soon. I know. Take care. Keep shining. Thank you.